Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me. I'm Sally Munro with Century 21 Platinum Realty, your local Edmonton and area real estate agent for the past 40 years. Thank you so much for joining me again today. And I am so excited that Dr. Lori is here with us today. And, it's always interesting. I'm just so thrilled at all the wonderful people that I have in my life. And so Dr. Lori is here. And today we're talking about live your best life by living your values. Okay. Remember, we're all in the same boat. I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks and days and days and days. And every one of us daily, we have all kinds of things that we must deal with. No one's life is perfect, but we can learn from Dr. Lori, right, and how to live our best life. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Lori. Here we go. So hello, Dr. Lori. And of course, I put your last name in bracket. It's Loredana, which is pretty interesting. Botter. It's so nice of you to be here with us today and to share your wisdom. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is to explain your name, Lady of Victory, for you.
Okay, thank you, Sally. Thank you for having me on your show, and hello to all our guests today. It's so nice to be here. And you asked me about my name. Actually, Loredana is Italian, and it's really supposed to be pronounced Loredana. But it's really hard to say for most people. But the literal meaning of that name is Lady of Victory, where the Laura is a derivative of laurel. And laurels were used to crown individuals who were victorious in battle. And Donna is pronounced Donna in Italian. And it means lady. So a lady of victory.
I love it. I think it's exciting.
Thank you.
It's so wonderful of you to join us today and to share your wisdom. You're a very learned woman. You have an extensive background. So I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you. It's been a very long journey. Yeah, I discovered I was really good at school, so I kept at school for as long as I could, and truly believe I'm a lifelong learner. So I do have a PhD in business with a concentration in organization and management, 2 psychology degrees. One is a master in industrial organizational psychology. The other is applied psychology. It's a bachelor's degree. And I've specialized in human resources over the years. So in my capacity as an HR professional, organizational effectiveness professional, I've been able to help companies with their vision, their mission, their values, putting their values into actions, which help them become more successful. It helps with team dynamics. And this is where I discovered I might want to use it on myself. When looking at living your best life, you really have to show up living your best self. And where do we start with that? A lot of people say, look at your why. Why do you exist? Why do you want to get up in the morning? I think that's an important question to understand what motivates you. However, when you want to show up being your best every day in every interaction, it goes much deeper. I think it goes to the core of who you are. And that is why our values become so important. They're just as important as DNA. They are what makes us unique, what makes us special. And for many of us, they're just words until we take action. and put actions to those words. So
So
that's how I got here.
our values are very important. Okay. So tell us, so where do you believe our values first are instilled in us?
You know, it's like an iceberg. Let's put it this way. When we meet people, they see us as the tip of the iceberg. That's probably only 3 to 10% of who we are. It is what lies underneath the water that is who we truly are. So that means our experiences, our education, our doctrines, our values, our experiences. And you said something today, we're all in the same boat. I think we're all in the same storm. Our boats are different, given the fact that we have different experiences. We don't all start at the same start line in life.
No, this is correct. You're correct.
Right? So it's what lies underneath the water that is really important and says who we are. Component of that is our values. And why are these values so important? Because they drive behavior. Even when you look at Chris Argylis's ladder of inference, we take a snapshot of a situation. And when we have that snapshot in our minds, then we say, okay, what is my experience with this in the past? That's going to drive our behavior. But it's also, what story are we putting to it? What value are we giving this snapshot? Because when I know what value I'm putting to it, then that means I am understanding it in a certain way, and it's going to impact how I feel. Those values again show up. That's going to drive my behavior. And a simple example, someone cuts you off on the road.
Okay.
You're driving along, right? Someone cuts you off, you start reacting, whether you honk your horn, whether you cuss in the car, whether you give them a polite wave with one finger, whatever you do, that's a reaction, right? Now, if you take a step back and say, this is my snapshot, what if that person just got a call to say his or her family was taken to the hospital because they were in a life-threatening accident?
Sure.
You take a step back. Now you realize this isn't about you, right? This is a situation that has another story. So you get to choose, do I want to react or do I want to respond? And when you're living your values, you are actually responding to a situation because you're showing up as your best self. You're showing up the way you want to show up and the way you want to be. That doesn't mean it's perfect, right? You're not perfect by all means. If you value anger as a person, this is what you know. Go ahead, cuss, right? Do something that is going to be reactive. Is this really showing up as your best self? Reevaluate your values.
So show up as your best self and decide whether do I want to respond or react.
Yes.
Wow.
That's it.
That's cool. It's true. Yeah, you're right. I've often, I on the road, yeah, what a great example. I just sort of, I acquiesce, go right ahead because I don't know what's happened in your day. So
exactly. And I'm sure that person who cut you off didn't get up that morning and say, I can't wait to get on the road to cut Sally off. I'm just going to find her car and just cut her off because I want her to have an awful morning. No one does that.
So if you have to sum things up, and I know that you have information that you will allow me to post later and share, right? There's a couple of different worksheets and things like this. So I'm sure that you've sort of, correlated down to 1, 2, 3, 4 things that people should consider right?
Yes.
They're living their best life, right? And living by their values. So I'm going to let you share a bit of this. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I think it's important that we start listing our values. And if you do a search on Google or Bing or any internet navigation site, you'll see there are lists of values. People will write down hundreds of words to represent your personal values. Pick 10. Just choose 10 values that are important to you. Now, if you don't have 10, that's okay. That's okay, because in organizations we say 4 to 6 values, that's all you need. Right? We're a little bit more complex as human beings than organizations.
Yeah.
And we can go up to 10 and we can remember those 10 usually. But that's not where we stop. Just because we've identified them, that doesn't mean we're living them. So let's go a little further. How are we going to define our values? So choose a few words that help you define that value. And where do you start? Maybe you have a vision board.
Okay.
Maybe you just look it up. You look up the meaning of the word and you're thinking, yeah, that's exactly what I understand that word to be to me. So you pick key words. Then once you have your key words, you actually start putting actions to those words.
So give us
Sure.
examples of words. Okay.
Okay.
What have you
So
seen?
I like trust. Trust is a value for me. Right? So when I look at trust as a value, my meaning involves emotional intelligence,
Right.
giving trust to earn trust, authenticity, and a team mentality. So those are five keywords actually, four keywords that.
So just to recap, so trust.
So we can actually say my actions match my words.
Okay.
That's one. Emotional intelligence.
Okay.
Give trust to earn trust.
Emotional intelligence. You know I'm typing these, right?
Yes, yes.
And give trust to earn trust.
Authenticity.
Authenticity. Perfect. That's a good one.
And a team mentality.
Team mentality. Cool. Okay. So
Okay.
Expand on those.
Still, those words are really cool, but they really don't help me show up. Right? They don't help me put those words into actions. This is the key. So it's easy to say my actions match my words. Positive thoughts, positive words, positive actions. Right? So every time I speak, I want to be positive. I want to make sure my thoughts and my actions align. That becomes an action. Then I want to say emotional intelligence. Well, how do I show up? How do I prove that I can be emotionally intelligent? Right? For me, it means I have to be self-aware. I have to be self-aware of my behaviors, my thoughts, my attitudes. I have to recognize emotions in myself and in those I interact with. I have to manage my emotions. Do I choose to react or do I choose to respond? And I learn from my experiences, so I self-reflect. I take the time to self-reflect. That's either in a journal, in meditation, right? in talking to friends. So these now become my actions. I start living these every day. When it comes to giving trust to earn trust, I respect free will and individual choices. It might not be what I want, but I cannot change someone else's behavior. I can only respect their decision.
True.
Right? So that means I'm trusting that that person is making a decision that's best for him or her. No jealousy. You know, we often talk about this. I know we had a conversation about the 10 Commandments and not coveting your neighbor's assets. Right? And this is how you live that. There's no jealousy. You're happy. You're genuinely happy when people succeed, when they achieve their goals. You don't say, I wish it was me. You say, what an inspiration. Right?
True.
And you allow yourself to become vulnerable. And this is something that people find really hard to do. You know, how many times are we put into a situation where we were told asking for help is a sign of weakness?
Yeah. People have heard that before.
Or don't cry at work. It's not professional if you cry at work. You make yourself vulnerable. But that's for me. This is how I want to live and show trust, right? Because when I can be vulnerable with someone or when I can be vulnerable with my boss, that means I trust that person completely.
True.
Right?
So being vulnerable is not a sign of weakness. It's really
no. For me, it's a sign of trust. I trust that person. Okay. Yeah.
It's a sign of trust. Very good. I like it.
Okay. When we talk about authenticity, how do you show up being authentic? Well, you know what? First step, be present.
Be present.
Be present in the moment.
And that, if we've learned anything from being isolated, right? Hopefully that one resonated and stuck with everyone. Be present in this moment. I love it.
Yeah. Right? Just show up. Be present. And another thing that is so important with that one, don't live expecting something. Right? Don't live with expectation. And we have a saying, like I use this all the time in business. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why we call it the present.
Right? Yes, we heard that one. And it's profound every time you hear it. It's the truth.
So show up. Be present in the moment. Enjoy the moment.
Yes.
Right? There's no expectation. Just have some gratitude for what you're going through at that moment in time as you're present. Show up as yourself.
True. And your authentic self, you.
Exactly. Right? That means if you're a jeans and t-shirt person, stay jeans and a t-shirt. You know? Be confident because we all have our strengths. We all have things that we can leverage and that we're good at. It just because we haven't accomplished the things we were going to accomplish or wanted to accomplish, that doesn't mean we're not good at something.
That's true.
Right? Be confident. Leverage your strengths. And be your best. Just admit when you need help. Admit when you don't know how to do something. Right? I don't like the phrase I can't, because I can't really means I don't want to or I don't know how. So when you start showing up and you're being your best, you're going to admit, I need some help here, right? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. And sometimes you ask me, you should use your doctorate, use your doctor more, right? So let people know your doctor. And the thing is, it's part of my professional life. It's not who I am.
No, that's not you. That's not you.
I don't want to talk about research and writing papers. I can do it. That's part of my professional life. But when I show up, I want to be Lori. I don't even go by Laura Donna, right?
You're Lori. Yeah, that's why. You're Dr. Lori.
So this is who I am. Yeah. And I want to show up like that. I want to be approachable and sincere and have fun, right? I don't want to be the expectations of the doctor. Oh, she must be so boring.
Oh, right. Along with a PhD goes that word, I suppose, right? It's a freaking notion.
Or so academic.
Oh,
You often hear that, right? And even when you're applying for jobs and doing things in a professional realm, people think you're automatically overqualified. So you just want to show up as yourself. Like how do you want your best friend to interact with you? That's how you want to show up.
Sure.
For me, that's important. And then when we talk about team mentality, I look at collaboration. I want to collaborate. I want to collaborate with people, as many people as I can. And this also goes into a personal aspect. When you have a team mentality, you collaborate with your partner. Now you're equals, right? So you can shift it from a professional lens to a personal lens, right? Cooperate. And that doesn't mean compromise. It doesn't mean resistance in any way because you feel you have to give something up if you're cooperating. No, cooperate means let's aim for the same goal. What is a common goal that we want to work towards together? This opens up our idea generation, our creativity, our need to communicate. So this is how I like thinking about cooperation. Then I want to consider others. Do I allow individuals to have a voice? Right? Because just as important as my voice is to me, someone else's voice is equally important.
True.
Right? And then how do I contribute? What can I contribute? In any situation where there is collaboration, sometimes I realize I just have to be an observer. And if that's my contribution, so be it.
I like it.
I don't have to lead. I don't have to actively participate in everything I do. And I don't have to be everything to everyone, even when I'm on a team. Right? Communication is so key. Right? Come prepared to share, to express feelings, and do it in a manner that allows individuals to open up themselves. So that's what communication means to me. So it means that I am going to come just as I am today, whether it be with notes, whether it be with experiences, with feelings, and I'm going to share openly. And that's why we said, even in your invite, you said, ask her anything, right? Because I want to show up communicating and being myself. And definitely sharing stories. We know in business that our leaders one of the best competencies they can have is to be a storyteller and to share their experiences to inspire and to motivate others. Well, I have to share my stories too. If I'm going to be part of a team, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do that to help people understand what lies beyond the water, what lies below the water of that iceberg.
Wow.
Okay? Because when you know the story, you understand me a little bit more.
And if I may, um,
Mm-hmm.
I always, it's a favorite thought of mine, and I always think of things as follows. We, as humans, every one of us is a blockbuster movie star. I've always believed that I could take, or Hollywood could take anyone off the street and make a blockbuster movie of their life. So we
Exactly.
all have a story. It's cool.
We do, right? And when we can share that,
Mhm.
like how much more vulnerable can you be?
Sure, sure. You know, this subject matter, living your best life by living your values. I've been here every day. I don't know if you are aware of that. It was a promise I made at the beginning of the lockdown, and I've been here every day live at 1 o'clock, no matter where I am. I try different ways, but I show up and I'm present despite wind, rain, or sleet kind of attitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, as I've always said, that even if it's just me, it's great if one person, gets something from what we're, sharing. And it's really about sharing and sharing stories, because you're right. We're all I like that. We're all in different boats, but in the perfect storm, right?
Yeah,
It's a storm. It was a storm. And we had
that's
to
right.
ups and downs and things like this, right? So, but this subject matter could take hours, and I think it's fantastic.
Yes.
So,
And
15 days ago, I shortened things. We used to be on for an hour, and then moving forward, as the world is opening up and cities are opening up and different things, then of course, right, we've gone to this 21 days for 21 minutes. But
yeah,
certain subjects like this, I'd love for you to come back. And I know that we've
sure.
touched on a couple of different things, but I think, Dr. Lori, I think we could run a virtual seminar and get people to sign up, and in a closed room, you know, like I have a Zoom account that allows you to have 300 people listening in
There
and
you go.
asking questions. I think it's great. But I use this particular, streaming live because I'm more comfortable with it. The other was kicking me out half the time. But,
Right.
what's so fantastic about sharing your experience and knowledge is oftentimes, I think, you're right. We grew up with certain basics that we know, but we can
Mhm.
never hear it often enough. You know, show up, focus, cooperate, communicate. And as you say, the word cooperative doesn't mean that we have acquiesced to someone else's, ideas. It's really about sharing, collaborate, share, express feelings. It's okay. You're right. It's okay to be vulnerable. Some people, are always, every time you see they're so strong, right? They always project that, but inside
Yeah,
they may be collapsing, and it's okay to, you're right, it was certain friendships that you have, you can be vulnerable. So it's, as you
exactly.
say, it's an expression of trust, and you can be vulnerable at work. Doesn't mean that it compromises your job, now does it?
No. And, you know, the thing is, when you look at these values you put down and you put actions to them, it doesn't mean you're not doing them. It doesn't mean you're not living them, right? What it helps you do is determine, where do I want to put more emphasis or action
Mm-hmm.
into my life so I can actually start mastering my values. And when I live my best self, show up as my best self, so many good things happen.
So,
You know, I showed up as myself, and look, you came along and said, hey, do you want to talk about it? Right? Do you want to come on the show and talk about it? I had another individual do the same thing on her Facebook page. Why don't you come out and talk about it? That wasn't the intention. The intention, I'll tell you what precipitated this whole direction for me. I started off the new year, like last year, I lost my mom. I lost my mom in January 2019.
mm-hmm.
My 50th birthday was her funeral.
Wow.
So that was a milestone and a half to have to say goodbye to a loved one and turn 50. The only saving grace, I was surrounded by friends, family. So I had lots of love and support right through a very difficult time. And my life really didn't turn out by the way I thought it would at 50. So starting this year, starting a new decade, I was actually doing an exercise through a life coach, or my life coach suggested I do an exercise on values. And I wrote down these 10 values, and that's where the exercise stopped. And I said, no, I need to attract more quality people in my life. I was stood up on New Year's Eve by a so-called gentleman. And I thought, no, this isn't going to happen again. Right? I'm going to attract quality people. I am going to love who I am. I'm going to love what I do. And I started writing down my values, actioning my values. So I call them operationalizing your values. And I realized how important that was, because it was successful in the companies I had helped. So I said, let me do it for myself. I know exactly how to do it. And I actually felt this weight lifting off of my shoulders. And within that week, I received a tax refund. And I had a very large bill. So to receive that little bit of money, it took me from a 5-digit bill to a 4-digit bill.
Wow.
Right? I ended up attracting quality men into my life.
Cool.
Yeah. You know, and the job offers, the invitations to interview, the invitations to even write more. So a book is coming out based on how to operationalize your values and live your values.
I love it.
That It wasn't expected. That was not the intent. The intent was, let me show up as my best self so I can start attracting what I deserve, what I want.
From my observation, in a short period of time, I saw amazing things turn around for you. Okay.
Right?
It's fantastic. So you are correct. It's really about, yes, opening yourself up to attracting what you truly want, better things, right?
Yes.
So, and you take action, right, towards those things, right? You know,
Yeah.
and a book. I can't wait.
I know, right? It's so
I know.
fun.
This is fantastic. So live your best life by living your values, right?
Exactly.
Open yourself up to positive things, right? Defining
Exactly.
where you see yourself, right? You know, this is all. It's, you know, we've all heard it before, but I think you're right. We need to take action.
Yeah.
Yes, towards it. Now,
And
I know that you do another really cool thing, so I'm going to invite you to come back on Friday, because I like I I like to think of Friday as fun day, fantastic day.
Yes,
Monday is my motivation day, right? I go,
yes.
okay, we've gotten through that week. Sunday is really for me always been the start of a brand fresh new week. So I love Sundays, which leads into motivation. Monday, everybody calls it that now. But Friday, I go fun Friday because we're heading
Woo!
into a weekend, so we can do all kinds of things. So, but you also have a passion that I'd like you to come back on Friday. So maybe we'll promote this, right? And so people can come on and ask questions and stuff. So tell us about that before we say goodbye.
Okay, so
Here for
I'm
an
actually
hour. This
working.
is a 1 hour thing, you guys out there.
I'm actually working on
Tell
a
us.
second PhD, and my second PhD is in metaphysics. And in that, I have really looked at the divine and spirituality, and I became a certified oracle card reader.
Oracle card reader. I bet.
And I actually learned from one of the best. I learned from Doreen Virtue, who is very well known
Mm-hmm.
in circles of readings and allowing, allowing people to gain spiritual guidance and divine guidance
Right.
when and where they need it most. So I have something like 24 decks of cards, and we can have some fun.
Well,
I
would
can
you
do
agree
some
to come back
reading.
and let's make Friday fun day for Oracle card reading? So,
I would love that.
are we able to then? Okay, so how does it work if we have guests watching and they have questions? Can you give me a little? This is all new to me. It's exciting.
Sure. We can do it a few ways. Individuals can send you questions. So if you open up
Okay.
they can send us questions, and we can have the cards ready to go, or we can take questions live.
Okay. Send in your questions, right?
Yeah.
Or we can take questions live. Okay, this Friday. Oh wow. At what p.m.? I'm gonna learn something new. This is cool. 1
And
p.m.
I'll probably show up in a captain and just be
All
totally
right.
easy going.
We're gonna have fun on Friday. This is really, really cool. Why not? Everything, I've always said that everything matters, right? Okay, so let me
That's
see if
right.
I can pop this up there. New comments. Let's see our new comments. There, show. So there we go. Send in your questions, or we can take questions live this Friday at 1 o'clock. Oracle reading. Like, look at this.
Yeah.
Dr. Lori, listen, we're going to have to make you a regular. And then maybe every week we're going to talk about a certain, there's so much for us today to digest, right? But to recap, we're going to start by actually maybe in preparation for next week's lesson, and you come back if you have time. People will, identify 4 to 6 values or up to 10. Okay.
Yes.
And then from there, as you say, it just sort of flows to expand those values, right? So I love that. And what's neat about this live, it will continue it's on Facebook. So for people that miss it, they can go back and watch it. And I always invite people to share it. And it stays on YouTube and whatever. But we're going to promote this Friday. Oracle reading 1 o'clock. I'm fascinated. To be honest with you, I really don't know a lot about Oracle reading. Is it similar to, palm reading or no? It's so totally different, right? I'm going to Google this.
Yeah, it's very similar to the tarot readings, and I use angels, so guidance from angels,
Nice.
and I take a look at a spread and determine what are some of the themes that keep reoccurring or coming up. It all depends on how open individuals are as well. And it sometimes things resonate, sometimes they don't. That's why it's nice to focus on one question at a time, one person at a time.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
if anybody
sometimes
out there is listening, but maybe we can invite someone to come on as a guest that want a total, someone we don't know. If you're listening out there and you'd like an oracle reading Friday, 1 o'clock, send me a message. It's that simple. I am so excited. Now, of course, something else. I love Googling things. But Lori, Dr. Lori, thank you so much for being here and sharing your insights and your expertise with us. And I look forward to the book. I want to know more.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sally.
So fantastic. So consider choosing a day and perhaps come on once a week and be a regular. Something like Leonardo, our investment guy from Scotia Bank. He comes on every Thursday because it's overwhelming in the investment market and everybody's wondering about their future. That's a different kind of future. We might ask you that question on Friday. Yeah,
there you go. We have cards for that.
Have you full time, just oracle reading. Sorry, thank you so much, and you look amazing. Look at this; it's the universe.
I know.
We're wearing orange, right? You know, hey, orange is the new black, right? Yeah, orange is the new black. So anyway, it's a pop of color. It brightened things up, and the weather is changing. It's so beautiful, and I'm blessed that I can have this corner space here for an office, and I'm surrounded by trees, and I try to, in my memory, because I look at it now, and I know in a matter of months it'll just be blowing and cold. So
let us enjoy. Stay in the present, Sally. Stay in the present.
No, I know, but I am. This is the present I'd like to carry forward every day. Yeah, I'm a little nuts. I talk to the trees too. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye for now. That was incredible. I love you. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Wasn't that incredible? Oh my gosh, Dr. Lori Loredana Botter. Thank you so much for being here today. And we're looking forward to, it's really interesting. You get to know people more and more. And as she said, everyone has a story. And, I discovered that, look at that, she has a PhD, another PhD. And of course, she studied with one of the best. And so Friday, this will be fun Friday, Oracle reading. Thank you all for being here. Yes, we went over our 21 minutes, but it's so fascinating. And may you all continue to live your best life by living your values. Okay, it's very basic. So to recap, right, show up your best self as you are, authentic, right? It's okay to be vulnerable, right? And take good care of yourself. And thank you all for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. It's Wisdom Wednesday, right? We're learning lots as we go, and 21 minutes for 21 days. This is our third week, and as we move forward, we'll see what the future holds. But for now, we're going to stay present, and thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of this miraculous Tuesday. Bye for now.